Welcome back to Paul Think Grow. In this episode, we'll be talking about anxiety, what it is and how it differs from depression, and how you can use some conventional and unconventional tools and tactics and therapies to reduce or eliminate it in your life. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. This is Paul Davis on the Paul Think Grow podcast, and I'm glad you're here to join me today. I wanted to record this episode and make sure that I got it out to you as soon as possible. Um, Over the course of my years as a trainer, as an assessor, as a life coach, and as a mentor, I've found that I've dealt with a lot of people that have or had expressed anxiety, and so I want to do this podcast episode, and I'm going to title it Let's Talk Anxiety. But first, let's identify a few things about anxiety. So there's some things people get kind of mixed up sometimes, and they call depression anxiety, stress, and stress depression, or stress anxiety. And so you can get to a point where you're not exactly sure what anxiety means or what it is, or even how to deal with it in a day-to-day manner. But we're going to do that today. We're going to take a moment and talk about anxiety, what it is, how it relates to your life, and the things that you can do. I'm always going to try to give you some value. So I'm going to have a things that you can do, a how to help combat and treat anxiety. And of course, a disclaimer here, I am not a medical professional. So please, if you're dealing with chronic anxiety or even anxiety that's just getting too much for you, that's affecting your life in a very negative way, please seek help with a medical professional, and talk to your doctor. Get a reference to a psychiatrist or a counselor. I'm not a counselor, but I want to make sure that I put that out there because I want everybody to understand that anxiety and depression is a real issue. So this is why I want to do this episode today. So thank you for joining me. And if you would like to get in touch with me at any point in time to either have a conversation or work with me as a client, I'm a life coach. And if you want to talk to me and work with me, please visit paulthinkgrow.com and we can get in touch there and we'll set up some times to have a conversation. So right now, I want to do this episode called Let's Talk Anxiety. So first, let's identify the major differences between anxiety and depression. And we'll also identify the differences between anxiety and stress. But let's start off with anxiety and depression. Although they're two distinct mental health conditions, although they can also co-occur as well, meaning they can work together. They are distinct. They are separate. And yes, there are things that bleed into things about anxiety that bleeds into depression, and things about depression that can cause and highlight or increase anxiety. So they can affect each other or create a very difficult situation for you together, but they are independent conditions themselves. So anxiety is something that we're going to talk about today, but anxiety is something that people get confused with depression a lot, but they also get it confused with stress. So having stress can be something that's a natural, normal thing. Although anxiety and depression are as well, it's natural and normal, but it is something that can be very detrimental to your success in life, but also affect your relationships and affect your outlook on life as a whole. And that can become a very dangerous situation. So please, if you are having some depression issues, some anxiety issues, please see your doctor, talk to a licensed professional, and get some help. There is nothing wrong with getting some help. All right. So anxiety and stress. Let's talk about anxiety and stress, and then we're going to dive into anxiety and depression's differences here. Anxiety and stress. So anxiety and stress are related to concepts that both involve a response to perceived threat or challenge. The stress refers to a physical emotional response, usually, uh, to a like demanding situation. So when a person experiences stress, their body releases stress hormones, such as cortisol, which prepares the body to respond to the stressor. So, in small doses, stress can be beneficial and even enhance performance. And this is often referred to as good stress or eustress, eustress. Whereas anxiety, on the other hand, refers to a persistent sense of fear or worry about future events, or a general sense of unease. So, unlike stress, which is typically triggered by a specific stressor, anxiety is often not tied to a specific event or situation, and it can persist even when there's no immediate threat. So, when the level of anxiety becomes overwhelming and it interferes with a person's daily life, it's considered bad stress or distress. All right, so there's a difference there. Good stress can be, when you are playing a sport and you get that kind of feeling, that tenseness. That can be good stress because it can actually help you with performance, whereas anxiety doesn't do that same thing. Um, so the difference in anxiety is that it is characterized by a feeling of worry, of nervousness, and fear, and it's related to future events, related to anticipation of future events or future situation, and that can cause physical symptoms such as rapid heartbeat, sweating, muscle tension, and other physiological problems that might occur, like hair loss and even nausea. So, and yes, anxiety can anxiety can cause hair loss, can cause skin conditions, can cause all kinds of things, because it is it's very difficult. It's bad stress. It's an intense form of stress. Well, probably more complicated than that, but it does have its stressor factors. Depression, on the other hand, is characterized by its feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and like a lack of interest or pleasure in activity. So depression can also cause physical symptoms such as fatigue and changes in appetite and sleep disturbances and things like that. And while both anxiety and depression can affect a person's daily life, uh, they are distinct conditions that are typically diagnosed and treated differently. So, in all my years of coaching and training and being a mentor, I can tell you that anxiety can significantly impact a person's day-to-day life in many ways. And here's some examples. Let me give you some examples. So, interpersonal relationships, anxiety can make it difficult for a person to form or maintain meaningful relationships with other people, as they tend to avoid like social situations and withdraw from others. It can affect your work performance, so it can interfere with your ability to focus and complete tasks, uh, lead to decreased productivity and difficulty meeting job responsibilities. Anxiety can also affect your sleep. It can cause sleep disturbances like insomnia, nightmares, and leaving you feeling exhausted the next day and impacting on your ability to function throughout the whole day. Anxiety can affect your physical health. Like I said before, it can cause physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tensions, and stomach issues, which can really negatively impact your overall health and well-being and affect your mood and your day and so on. And anxiety can also affect your decision making. So you can have anxiety that can interfere with your ability to make decisions, leading to indecisiveness and procrastination. It's important to remember that everyone's anxiety is different, and these examples are just a few ways anxiety can affect a person's life. And with proper treatment and support, many people are able to manage their anxiety and improve their quality of life, and others have been able to totally recover from the symptoms or the reoccurring conditions of anxiety. So remember, we're focusing on anxiety. I wanted to describe a bit about anxiety and depression and stress, because those are the three that kind of get mixed up. You know, you probably have heard people that say, you know, I'm doing such and such and I have anxiety. Well, you can't say, no, you don't have anxiety, because that's not proper. But they may more likely have, be stressed, or they may more likely have, just a high level of tension from stressful issues, from expectations and things like that. Whereas anxiety is more of a dread for future circumstances or future situations. And it's more focused on what is going to happen. And it's that response that feels like it's going to happen that ultimately kicks in that whole anxiety prolonged episode. And of course, anxiety doesn't have to be something that has a particular thing. It could literally be something that you have the formulant of the feeling and the idea that you need to avoid this situation, even if there's no situation there to avoid. So it doesn't have to have something that's pointing to it. It could be literally just a a anxiety attack that comes up that has no that you can't literally pick out, okay, this is why I'm having anxiety, or that's why I'm having anxiety. You can for sometimes, but it doesn't always have to be that. All right. So there are several evidence-based techniques and treatments that can help people combat and manage your anxiety. So if you do have anxiety, or you have experienced anxiety in the past, or you've had times where you figure anxiety is coming, you can feel that tension, you can feel that dread, you can feel that disassociation with wanting to actually do anything because there's going to be some problem in the future or something forward that's negative. Then there are some things that you can do to manage it. And of course, the list that I give you when I go through these things, it's not exhaustive. We're not actually saying that these are the only things you can do. Of course, there's a lot of things that you can do, because every human being and every person is so absolutely unique, and your experiences make you a totally unique person. Yeah, I like to say, even if you had somebody that was your twin, you guys all did the same thing every day from the time you were born, and you're in your 30s, 40s now, I could tell you that both of those people would be individuals. They would be they would think probably the same type of things, but the way they come to conclusions and things would ultimately vary. There would be so much difference, just because everybody has different perspectives, different perceptions, and different experiences, and the way they translate those experiences through their beliefs and through their understanding of the world around them. So their worldview itself may be a slight bit off from, even if you all did the exact same thing, because nobody can live in the same space and time as you. All right. So here are some evidence-based techniques and treatments. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, I've studied cognitive behavioral therapy and how to use it to help people to change patterns and change the way they associate things. Behavior therapy, CBT, helps individuals to identify and challenge negative thought patterns and beliefs that contribute to your anxiety. So that's something that you can actually engage in with a licensed professional, with a life coach. Again, make sure that if this is a real big issue, if this anxiety is a real big issue, that you get some professional help, and even ask, the professionals, if you're wanting to move to a different kind of professional, like from a psychologist to a life coach or anything like that, because of whatever reason. Please make sure that you consult your doctor first, and try and keep yourself in a place where you're medically looked after throughout the whole process. Because life coaches, some of them are, but life coaches are generally not counselors, and they're generally not, a psychiatrist or psychologist. So, some other things that you can do. are exposure therapy. Now, exposure therapy can be very scary for a lot of people because exposure therapy involves gradually exposing yourself to the source of your anxiety in a controlled environment with the goal of reducing fear and anxiety over time. So, say you did know what the stressor was, you did know what the problem was that you were anxious about, that you were having these real, anxiety attacks about. Slowly introducing yourself to those things more and more and more until it becomes something that is voided. That feeling is now null, or that feeling is reduced to a extremely manageable or altogether disappeared form. So, exposure therapy is one. Mindfulness-based therapies, and mindfulness-based therapies, we talked a lot about mindfulness-based in the self-influence episode, as well as the second episode. Um, I want you to think about mindfulness-based therapies as something that can be done anytime, anywhere. It's techniques like meditation, and that'll help people to become more aware and accepting of your thoughts and your feelings and sensations, which can, in fact, reduce anxiety symptoms. Because one of the things about anxiety is the unknown, and that unknown can be something that causes more and more anxiety. Another thing that you can do is, medication. So in some cases, medication may be prescribed to help manage anxiety symptoms, and you want to make sure that you go to a licensed professional. Sorry, you want to make sure you go to your doctor first to get referred to a professional, and have that professional work with your doctor to prescribe or to get the medication you need to work this out. Because there are a lot of times that there are things that you might need, serotonin inhibitors, or what's that one, benzodiazepines or something like that, diazepines, I think it is. But of course, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a psychiatrist, and I'm not a psychologist. So please do not listen and be like, well, I heard Paul say that I should get it, and then you go and try to acquire that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That will cause you more problems than you might think. Go to a doctor. Talk to a doctor and say, these are my issues. I need to be referred to somebody that can help me. And the doctor, generally, most doctors have, I think all doctors have, a person that they would refer you to, or somebody that they would refer you to, so that you can go and work with a licensed professional. And if it comes to medication, that would be that'll be the path that they take. Another thing you can do to help combat and manage anxiety is lifestyle changes. Making changes to your lifestyle, like regular exercise, eating balanced diets, and getting enough sleep, can help reduce anxiety symptoms. And it's important to note that treatment for anxiety will vary again depending on the individual, and the severity of their symptoms. The severity of the symptoms. In some cases, a combination of therapies and medications might be most effective. So don't actually just think because you are changing something that's going to fix it. Now that's going to be a good step if you can change your lifestyle and you find that it does fix it, does kind of calm it down and reduce the symptoms and make you a better person and live better and have a happier life. Go for it. Do that. you know Mindfulness therapies, exposure therapy, cognitive behavior therapy. If you can do these things, and you can actually work with people or work by yourself and do these things other than medication and probably cognitive behavioral therapy, I think you can literally do these things to help you manage your own anxiety. So the three things that I would suggest out of the list that I've given you would be exposure therapy, mindfulness-based therapies, and lifestyle changes. So changing your lifestyle to be more healthy, because one of the things that I have researched and found out was that your gut health is extremely important to your chemical balance in your body and in your brain. So, your gut health, the things that you put in your stomach, the things that you drink and eat daily, is extremely important to how you actually manage stress, anxiety, depression, all of that. And it actually helps you to, if you have a good uh, regular exercise, eating a balanced diet, and getting good sleep, you'll find that you're able to regulate yourself a lot better because there's a lot less cloudiness in your thinking and the way you perceive things. And of course, every doctor is going to say a similar thing, but that is no substitute for, seeking help if your symptom is, or if your conditions are actually requiring some help and support. So the severity of your symptoms, you might not exactly know, but even going and speaking to your doctor and giving them some information, filling out a form that says what, answering some questions and things like that might give you an idea of how severe your symptoms or your case may be. But anxiety is one of those things that have a little bit of a taboo to it as well. I've heard people talk about anxiety as if it was something so negative that they're afraid to even go and tell somebody that they have anxiety. People have this thing where they have these hangups about having some sort of condition or issue, even if it's something that can be worked on and fixed or worked on and diminished. It's still this hangup that I don't want to go and do this because then I'll be looked at like that. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You don't know how beautiful you feel when you get rid of some of these things that are holding you back. And anxiety is one of those things that a lot of people just suffer through, and they constantly suffer through until they have a major anxiety attack. And even after that, they still seem to suffer through it. Don't put yourself through that. There is no reason for that whatsoever. Anxiety is something that humanity understands. We understand it now. We understand more about it than we did 50, 100 years ago. So take the time to look after yourself. If you had a deep cut on your arm or something, and you didn't put a band-aid on it because you were afraid that people would see a band-aid on you, I think you would be, what is the analogy? Can't see the forest for the trees, or shooting yourself in the foot, or whatever way you want to put it. I think you'll be doing more harm to yourself than good. And even if others don't understand why you are going to go see a doctor, or going to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever, whoever the doctor refers you to, even if they don't understand, this is for you. This isn't for the rest of the world. Like I said, no one else can live in the time and space that you are living in. Even if you get up and move to another seat, when somebody sits there, they're in their time and space. You're still in your own. So you have to look after yourself, because I like to say, look after yourself, because nobody can do it for you. Not that nobody will. Nobody can do it for you. If you refuse to look after yourself, then how are you going to let somebody else do it for you? Because you're the one that has to answer the questions, do the activities, change the lifestyle, listen to the support, talk with someone, take the medication, or eat the right foods, or stop drinking as much, or drink a little of this, or eat a little of that, or whatever it is. You're the one that has to do it. Nobody can do it for you. Everybody is out here trying to live their own life, and sadly enough, most of us are trying to survive and get that little bit past survival. So everybody has their own thing. You have to look after yourself. So let's take a look at these these uh, these evidence-based techniques techniques and treatments that I described before. Let's give it just a little bit more detail here. So let's talk about some specifics. With cognitive behavioral therapy, you can identify and write down. This would be a procedure that would be working with someone, and they'll kind of help you through it and work out everything with you. But the the principal procedure is identifying and writing down negative thoughts and beliefs that contribute to your anxiety. So you need to identify those, write them down, have it on paper, know what it is. Participate. Practice challenging and reframing these thoughts. And this will be done through guided therapy sessions with a trained psychologist, life coach, um, psychotherapist, psychiatrist, whoever is referred to and whoever you believe can give you that support. Just make sure they're qualified professionals that have trained for it. Um, however, for chronic anxiety, as a life coach, I would ultimately refer you to a psychiatrist or to your doctor. If your condition, if you came to me and said, this is my issue, and I said, okay, this sounds like something we can work on, but then I found that as we were working on it, it's something that wasn't manageable through life coaching, through cognitive behavior therapy at the life coaching level. I would say you need to speak to your doctor and get referred to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and let them work with you, because they will be able to they'll be able to do more for you in the sense of, excuse me, in the sense of ensuring that you have all of your records and everything, working with your doctor, and if there's medication that is required, then that's where you would go down that path. And you can actually get your licensed professional to work with your doctor by letting them know that you would like referrals made. All right. Exposure therapy. Let's talk about that for a second. So exposure therapy, you can make a list of feared situations or objects that cause you anxieties. Situations or objects, things, places, people, whoever, that cause you anxiety. And then gradually and systematically, so this is the key point, gradually and systematically expose yourself to these situations or objects or people in a controlled environment with the support and guidance of a therapist. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do exposure therapy, you have somebody there helping you with that. And that if you're finding that you're getting too deep into something and you come into that person and saying, look, this is what's happening. I'm sort of exposing myself to the situation, but I'm finding that I'm having really horrible breakdowns afterwards, or I'm having really horrible breakdowns before, and it's just so tough. Well, then that person should be able to gauge that, okay, we need to pull it back a bit. Let's try something a little less strenuous first, and then we'll work our way up to that. That's where the systematically exposing yourself to it comes in. All right. So exposure therapy can be highly beneficial to anxiety of specifics. All right. Mindfulness-based therapies. So practicing mindfulness meditation regularly, such as focusing on your breath, your breathing, your body sensations, and being present in the moment. And of course, if you've listened to episode 2 of the podcast, you'll know that I talked a bit about this before on how to be in the moment, how to take moments and just take that moment in, being able to meditate, being able to stop the world around you. It's going to take some time, but it'll be so much worth it from even the first time you try it. Just taking a moment, take 5 minutes and just stop and focus on one thing. Focus on a candle, focus on the light coming through the window, focus on something specific that you can actually stop and clear your mind and get yourself to a point where you can calm all these things down. Even engaging in things like yoga or Tai Chi or other mindfulness-based physical practices that can help you support things. I know that there are a lot of people that do sports. Those things are great too. But there are mindfulness sports that will help you to slow down and keep calm and help you to be able to practice that. So when there is a moment where anxiety rears its ugly face, you can actually have the tools and the experience that you've practiced doing this to be able to stop for a moment and allow yourself the time to meditate, even for a few minutes. Allow yourself the time to regroup and in turn diminish that wave of anxiety that comes flowing in. So we talked about medication. You know, follow the regimen that your doctor prescribes, that your healthcare provider prescribes, and regularly monitor and discuss any side effects with your healthcare provider. This is one thing that I found people neglect. Discuss any side effects or any negative things that are happening as a result of that medication, or even if you think it's a result of that medication, with your healthcare provider. All right. Lifestyle changes. Engage in regular exercise, like going for walks, jogging, doing yoga, even just standing and walking in place is a huge plus to, your body when it comes to anxiety. Eating a balanced diet, so plenty of fruits and vegetables, and limiting caffeine and alcohol consumption. I know a lot of people go, well, I'm not going to live without caffeine. Okay, I get that. Or I'm not going to live without alcohol. I get that too. But what I'm saying is not overdoing it. So eating as well as you can, and if you can go the the full thing and eat fruits and vegetables, a very balanced diet, center nutrition, the whole 9 yards, great, perfect. A lot of us don't have that ability, and I say ability because it does take some work to just change your diet and cut out things that you know are not 100% good for you. But that does not mean that you can't take some steps and do some things. That does not mean that you just don't do anything. If you used to drinking alcohol, let's say, every day, you drink alcohol every day. Sometimes, some weeks, just identify that, okay, today I'm not drinking. I'm not going to drink on this day and that day. Maybe give yourself 2 days a week and work yourself to a point where you go, you know what, I haven't drank for the whole week. Haven't really seen the need for it. Now, if you are a alcoholic, which everybody thinks that's such a bad word, it can be, but most alcoholics are just normal people that just drink all day, every day, or just drink a lot. They don't have to drink all day, every day. Normal people just, they drink and that's what they do. And they don't take it to excess every day. It's just drinking is their way of relaxing, their way of, getting away from the world or whatever. And sometimes it's just what they do. You can still see a professional and say, look, I am having some issues. I'm drinking quite a bit. I would like to have some sort of referral that can help me with this condition. And I can work myself out of it, or I can work myself down. Or you can take time and do the same thing. Do some mindfulness work to actually help yourself focus on not drinking as much. Talk to a life coach. Talk to a therapist. Talk to a psychologist. Talk to a psychiatrist. Talk to your doctor. Talk to anybody who you know have either been through that and they've succeeded through that. Get some support is what I'm trying to get at. All right. But eating a balanced diet and limiting caffeine and alcohol consumption, getting enough sleep, and aiming for about 7 to 9 hours per night. Now, I know, if anybody knows me personally, they know I don't do a whole lot of sleeping. But of course, I make up for it with my day naps. I'm sorry, but I have to get enough sleep in. But there are times when I don't go to bed at the times I should go to bed at. But I can tell you one thing: when I do actually go to bed at a reasonable time for a few days in a row, there's a whole different world. I experience a whole different world. My outlook on life is a lot brighter. I feel a lot brighter. I feel more healthy. Even if I'm not physically feeling great, I think clearer. I walk clearer. I move clearer. I can do things with more clarity. So 7 to 9 hours per night. Some people only do 5 to 6 to 7 hours, maybe 7 hours. But most people everybody should be getting 7 to 9. We always were told 8 hours of sleep is the base. Well, it should be. It's right between the 7 and 9. It's a pretty good point to be. So practicing stress reduction techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxing, and guided imagery. So those are things that you can do in your own lifestyle. You can actually, you know, either go and get, you know, progressive muscle relaxation. You can do deep breathing. You can sit there and as your body relaxes, you can self hypnotize yourself, or you can go and see a professional and literally get physical relief from muscle tension and all of that. You can also engage in activities that bring you joy and bring joy and purpose to your life, like hobbies and volunteer work, and even paid work for that matter. If you really enjoy your job, paid work is great. All right. So here's some bonus ones here. Here's some unconventional lifestyle changes someone can do to help manage anxiety. Connect with nature. Spend time in nature. Go outside and see the world. Let yourself connect with the world outside. Let yourself connect with the earth, connect with nature, connect with the wind, with the sun, and help. That will help to reduce your stress and anxiety as well, if that's your kind of thing. You know, this include activities like hiking, gardening, um, simply going for a walk in the park, things like that. Try aromatherapy. Like I said, these are some unconventional ones, but try aromatherapy. Certain scents like lavender and what's that, bergamot, can be shown to have a real calming effect on people and the body and mind. I remember when I first came to Australia, my wife had a big row of lavender down her driveway, and I very much enjoyed every time I would smell that lavender because it wasn't something I was used to. However, the actual lavender was very calming, and it was almost like every time you came home, you was like, "Whoo, lavender," and every time you left, you're like, "Whoo, lavender," and it was nice. It was quite nice. Those lavender bushes can get pretty big, but it was very nice. Experiment with creative activities like painting and drawing, or even writing can help relieve stress and anxiety. So taking the time, if you're creative, if you're a person that enjoys painting and drawing, do it. Don't just leave it. Do it. It's a part of your life. This is your life. Live it. Do some painting, do some drawing. Take the time. Look, you have to take the time. This is your life. You have to take the time. Me time has been pushed to the back of everything because we got jobs, we got families, we got responsibilities, we got things we got to do. And I'm going to tell you something. If you don't do stuff for you, no one else can do it for you. I just said that before. I just want you to understand it's essential that you take the time and do something for you. So, being able to do drawing and painting and things like that, I wish I could. I I love the whole drawing and painting. Writing, I probably can do. I haven't done it, but it hasn't been something that's like, this is my creative outlet to write. So I haven't gone that far. But if you're a painter, if you're a drawer, or if you just like drawing and painting, or just playing with the paint, or doing any activity that's a creative activity, do it. Practice gratitude. So taking the time each day to reflect on things that you're actually thankful for, and that can shift your focus from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. That can reduce anxiety tremendously. To take the time to just think about the things you're grateful for, even if you just are grateful that you woke up. My family growing up, I've heard friends, families, you know, all people saying all the time, I'm just so thankful that I woke up. It's usually thank God I woke up this morning. Just thank you for getting me out of bed. That's it. Just thank you for that. That's incredible to actually have a moment where you go, I'm just thankful that I'm here. I'm just thankful that I'm here, and truly mean it. Not just saying it because it's something to say, but truly actually be thankful for the fact that you are here another day, because none of this is guaranteed. So trying out acupuncture or even acupressure. So these traditional Chinese medicine practices that have been used for centuries to help reduce stress and anxiety. You can get a pet. Play with your pet. If you got a pet, play with your pet. You know, there's a reason why people have support animals. There's a reason why hospitals and nursing homes and assisted living places and all these places have, times where they have cats and dogs or even different animals come in so that the people can play with the pets or touch them, rub them. It's scientifically proven, and I don't like saying this, but you can Google it, that petting a dog or petting a cat is stress reducing. It helps to relieve stress. It helps to relieve anxiety. It even helps your muscles to relax because there's something to focus on, something to do, something that you are getting pleasure from, but also giving pleasure to. So get a pet, have a pet. If you don't have a pet, you can't get a pet, or you don't want a pet, find a person that got a pet and pet that pet. Okay. All right. Um, this is one that I would like to do a little extra on at some point. Well, I might do it at the end here. I might jump it at the end. But take a cold shower. I know, like I said, this unconventional lifestyle changes that can help with anxiety. You don't have to take a cold shower every day. You don't have to take a cold shower for your main shower. But taking a cold shower has been shown to reduce symptoms of anxiety by increasing your heart rate and blood flow, and even decreasing inflammation. Taking a cold shower is an unconventional technique for sure, and it manages anxiety because it's a sudden and intense physical experience. And cold showers can stimulate the body's nervous system and activate the fight or flight response. Now, I've done this a few times, or I've even done this right after having a warm shower. You get your body clean and everything, and then I just flick the switch right over to cold, and I just let it happen. I was just let it go, because my body then goes to a fight or flight response, in which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the fight or flight response in a moment here. So just stay tuned for that. I'm almost at that point. All right. Engage in physical play. So engaging in physical play, such as catching, dancing, participating in a sport, that can all help reduce anxiety levels, because it can drain you, but also get you to a point where you've exerted that energy that you would have used on the anxiety as well. So go out, play tennis, play basketball, play soccer, play football, play footy, play everything that you can play. Even going out and playing with your kids, running around, just doing something that's a physical activity as a sport can actually take your focus away and help to reduce anxiety levels by not only exhausting the body and exhausting the energy levels, but also taking your focus away and giving you something to participate in, something to focus on long term. Because when you get home, you go, well, I could have did that, I could have did this, next week I'm gonna do that, or tomorrow I'm gonna do this, whatever it is. So that can help reduce your anxiety levels too. Try laughing yoga. You ever heard of laughing yoga before? So laughter yoga combines a deep breathing with forced laughter to reduce stress and anxiety. And I know you just heard me say forced laughter. Let me tell you something. Things that sound weird and strange can be very good for you. Just because you don't want to see somebody forcing themselves to laugh, and it's what we call cringe these days, to have somebody forcing a laugh, it's still quite a positive thing. Now, if you've ever done any research on smiles and laughs, you'll find that laughing can be a healer. Laughter is a healer. This is why also places that have people that are sick, hospitals, and what are these? I forget the name of it, but places that where people are, sort of living out their last months or days or whatever, hospice or respite or whatever it is. They do have people come in and create laughter, even though in some places the laughter isn't robust, but it's still a bit of a smile, a bit of a good feeling. Little light joke here, little light joke there. This is why we all like people who make us laugh, because it's a healing. Laughter has a healing property to it. I can't tell you what it is, but maybe we'll research it one day, and I'll come back and give you what I know. Volunteering can help distract from the worries and provide a sense of purpose, leading to the decrease of stress and anxiety levels. A sense of purpose is something huge. Knowing what you are doing and who you are and why you're here can actually reduce a lot of stress and anxiety in your life. It's important to remember, though, that not every treatment or every um, thing that I said here works for everybody. You know, not what worked for one person just might not work for somebody else. So if it's something that I said and you go, "Wow, I really do like that," that could be amazing. The forced laughter thing, I know that's what you're thinking of. I can hear it in your brain. You think that's great? Go for it. So not everything is for everybody, but there are some things in there that you can do. And if there's anything else that kind of similar to these things, or even outside of the box to these things, do those things. Activities, actually having an active doing something, even if it starts off as just a 1 hour a week or 1 hour a fortnight or 1 hour a month. Do it, because your health and your mental health is extremely important. And you'll find that the more you do something you enjoy, the more you relax about things, the more anxiety you get rid of, the more anxiety goes down, the more it doesn't bother you as much. So it's important for you to experiment and find out what best works for you. All right, so the last little bit here, that was the how. That was my giving you some ideas on how to actually go through and work on some anxiety for yourself. You know, if you have these anxiety problems or anything that pops up, or have had anxiety in the past and you're worried that it's going to come back up, or you've had those similar feelings, these are some of the things you can do. Lifestyle changes, some medication, mindfulness-based therapies, exposure therapies, cognitive behavioral therapy, and then even getting out and doing things. You know, connect with others, try aromatherapy, experiment with creative activities, practice gratitude, try acupuncture or acupressure, get a pet or play with a pet, or taking cold showers, which I'm going to talk to you about a second for the fight and flight response. Engage in physical play, try laughing and laughing yoga, and volunteering, or even, doing something that you really enjoy. A lot of times people have a job. That job is causing them a lot of anxiety and stress, or stress and anxiety, and they need a different job. They need a different job because it's just that simple. If they had a different job, something that they enjoyed doing, their anxiety levels would reduce because they don't have that future stress of I I got so much that I have to do here, or there's so much put on me, or there's so strong, or this is so hard, and they start feeling that dread come up as the days go on, or the weekend gets shorter, and it's like I got to go back to work on Monday. So sometimes it's just as understandable as finding another job, or finding different work, or even doing volunteering on the side, so that the job that you do might be a little stressful, a little anxiety inducing, but you still have something that gives your life a lot of worth, a lot of meaning, a lot of vibes, good vibes, beautiful vibes, that offset that need to find that where you are that you haven't been getting. So, final notes about fight or flight. And I hope you guys have gotten some value out of this. This is what I do these for, so that you can get some value out of it. Final notes. So, fight or flight. We talked about cold showers. Like, there are people that take ice baths. There are people that go and get into the sauna, and then they go and jump into the pool, get out of the pool, go sit in the sauna, and then go back and jump into the pool, or do it from hot tub to the pool, and that kind of gives their body a shock. So your body is absolutely amazing. The fight or flight response prepares your body to defend itself. That's what happens when you get the fight or flight response. So when you put yourself through an intense temperature change really quickly, really intense, the body prepares to defend itself and to escape from danger, which can help protect you against injury, but also help your mental. And the following things I'm going to say are some like physiological changes that might contribute to this protection. So increased heart rate. So your increased heart rate results in increased blood flow, providing more oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, preparing them for physical activity. Your body will open up dilation of airways, meaning the dilation of airways will increase in your body, and the amount of oxygen that the blood can take to throughout the body, which can improve in endurance and reduce the risk of injury from lack of oxygen too. Uh, this fight or flight response will induce relaxation of non-essential muscles. And the reason why I say non-essential muscles is because non-essential muscles are not there for, combat. So the relaxation of non-essential muscles, such as the digestive system, will allow the body to redirect energy to essential muscles, like the heart and muscles in the limbs. This improves your physical performance and reduces the risk of injury. Now, this is the fight or flight. That's why I keep saying reduce the risk of injury. This will increase the muscle tension in your essential muscles. It will prepare them for physical activity, improving the strength and reducing the risk of injury from weakness. And also, here's a cool thing: the fight or flight response will suppress pain. It will create a suppression of pain, because this fight or flight response will release hormones that can suppress the perception of pain, allowing you to continue physical activity and reduce the risk of injury also. And it's important to note that these physiological changes can help protect against injury in the short term, but prolonged activation of a fight or flight response can lead to negative effects, such as increased stress and anxiety, and a decreased immune function as well, and maybe even other health problems. So you can jump into a shower or jump into an ice bath and shock your body for a few seconds, or just until you start getting that feeling of I'm acclimatizing to it. Then get out and be cold. It is shocking that we never put ourselves out of our comfort zone, that we maintain comfort at all costs, even the cost of our own sanity. But essentially, sometimes just getting in the shower and giving yourself a cold shock and getting back out can help your brain relax, can help you relax a bit, can help your muscles and your body and everything focus a little bit, which makes you feel clearer, clean, open, wide-eyed. You ever heard a person, they jump into a pool and they jump up and go, woo, real loud, and it's like, wow, that was exhilarating. Well, that's what it is. Your body went into I gotta get out of here mode, but then your brain goes, no, we good. And you have this moment of clarity of, okay, I feel myself. I am here. And then your body suddenly acclimatized to the temperature, and you're good to go. You can swim all day, and then you don't feel the water anymore, and you swim and it feels like you're in warm water, and everybody else is like, that water's freezing. But that's how your body operates. Your body is amazing. So putting yourself into the fight or flight situation, not in a dangerous situation, nobody go out there and light a fire and jump in it. That's dumb. All right. Put yourself in a situation that is extremely manageable, but will still give you that shock value, and that will give you that fight or flight response and create some physiological activity in your body. How many of us have said we have put ourselves in a situation where we've allowed that to happen? When it gets hot, we turn on the air conditioner. When it gets cold, we turn on a fan, or we turn on the air conditioner. We keep ourselves at a normal temperature rate, but sometimes shock yourself out of it, especially if you're having anxiety issues or things that you need to work on as far as stress, anxiety. Be able to shock yourself, giving yourself a fight or flight response and letting your body, nervous system pump some chemicals through you and pump some nutrients through you and get yourself ready for a fight for that second. It will give you so much clarity. It'll clean up a lot of things really quickly, and you'll go, okay, I think Paul's onto something here. And that's my time. I thank you guys for listening. I hope you've had a wonderful time. And I'll see you next time. Come think with me.